Hi, I'm Esther. I'm a professional chef. We got this. With Gabby's recipe, I have ingredients that you would most likely find in your pantry or your local grocery store. These ingredients may seem simple, but with a little technique, we can really amp it up. If I had to guess, these ingredients probably cost around $24. $13? Wow, okay. What's really important about fried rice is having everything ready so that when you're cooking it, it's super, super fast and everything's ready to go. So Gabby sent me these head-on shell-on shrimp, which I'm very excited for. We're gonna use the entire shrimp. The shrimp head actually is one of the best parts. There's so much flavor and so many things that you can do with it. Gabby was probably just gonna use the shrimp bodies as the meat to quickly saute into her rice. But you know, you're gonna be wasting a lot of the other great parts of the shrimp. Okay, we're just gonna have to devein the shrimp because this is where the bodily wastes live. And there we have it. Our shrimp are prepped. We have our heads, our shells, and our bodies. We're gonna be making a shrimp stock that I'm gonna be cooking my rice in. It's just gonna elevate the rice. It's gonna give a nice base seasoning. So Gabby gave me scallions and garlic to use in the recipe, and I'm just gonna use these scraps for the stock. Give a quick smash to the garlic, and what this does is releases some aroma from the garlic and some water. High heat, we're gonna let it come to a slight boil and let it cook for about 30 minutes. We're just extracting all the flavor from the shrimp shells and your vegetable scraps. So my shrimp stock has been going for about half an hour. We're just gonna press on the shrimp shells to extract as much flavor from it as possible. So I have my shrimp heads, which I'm gonna be doing two different things with it. I'm gonna be making a shrimp oil and a shrimp paste. We're gonna heat up some oil, and I'm just using regular vegetable oil. You have to be super careful when adding anything wet into hot oil. All right, we're good. It's just all the moisture evaporating. I'm looking for a beautiful pink hue. So you can tell the bubbles have subsided a bit. My shrimp looks super like crispy. Look at that oil color. Look how beautifully orange that hue is. You hear that? Okay, so my shrimp oil is ready, and these shrimp heads that are super crispy, we're gonna be making a beautiful shrimp paste. I don't throw anything out. Maximize, maximize, maximize. Now it's time to make our shrimp paste. Most importantly, the mortar and pestle. I feel like it's very underutilized in the kitchen. It releases so much flavor and it's so fun to use. We're gonna add our shrimp heads and just grind it up to a fine paste. What's cool about this shrimp paste, you can kind of leave it in a jar in your fridge and utilize it whenever you're cooking. You wanna add a little bit of umami into, you know, your noodles or your fried rice. This is what you add. I'm gonna add 2 cloves of garlic for more flavor. All right, getting a workout today. I don't need to hit the gym. A little bit of soy sauce in here. That shrimp oil we made earlier, I'm gonna add a little bit of that. A little bit more soy sauce, add a little bit more oil. Mix it together. It's becoming more like a loose paste. I do wanna push it through a sieve so that it's more fine. I mean, I can't help myself right now. I have to taste it. Oh, that's wild. And there we have it. Look what we did with just simple shrimp. So much better than just sauteing it and calling it a day. This is what you call maximizing flavor. So Gabby sent me garlic. I feel like instead of just using garlic in the fried rice or in the stock or the oil, maybe making a garnish with it. So I'm gonna be making garlic chips. I'm just gonna slice it thin on a mandolin. Confidence is key when it comes to mandolins. If you go too slow, then you're gonna cut yourself. If you go too fast, you're gonna cut yourself. Then we're gonna turn on our pan, add oil. It doesn't have to be completely hot. We can kind of bring it up together. So I'm just gonna add our garlic at this point. Key here is definitely watch your garlic, babysit it, because once you turn around, you're gonna burn your garlic. It's ready. So at this point, we're gonna take it out because the color will darken as it sits on the paper towel. And garlic chips. How can I not? Perfect. I have my shrimp oil here because I'm gonna add the garlic oil to the shrimp oil. Now we have shrimp and garlic oil. Hence, it's fried rice that's a day old, which is perfect for fried rice because the textural element when you have day old rice works so perfectly. The oils and the vegetables and the aromatics kind of rehydrate it and actually makes for the perfect texture. You're welcome. Gabby sent me probably your most common rice that you'll find in your local supermarket. And in this case, we're gonna do 2 cups. Normally I would wash my rice multiple times, but I think I'm just gonna give this one a rinse because it's not too starchy. 2 cups of our shrimp broth that we made. So as soon as it comes to a boil, you're gonna lower it to your lowest setting, put your lid on, and then let it steam. So package says 15 minutes, but I'm gonna actually check it at 13 because I do want it to be slightly al dente since we're making fried rice. Okay, so we're gonna check on our rice, and I'm just gonna use a fork to gently fluff it. It has a slight bite, which is what I want, because I don't want it to be mushy since we are gonna recook it when we fry the rice. And now this is my trick when I do it at the restaurants and we need rice for fried rice. We will spread it out on a sheet tray and let it kind of dry out like that. One thing I really hate with fried rice is when it's mushy. This will really help prevent that. Clearly, Gabby didn't send me much vegetables to work with, but it's okay. We're gonna still maximize. The scallions I'm actually gonna use in 2 different ways. So I'm gonna separate the whites and the greens. With the whites, I'm actually gonna use to kind of flavor the oil when I cook the fried rice. This will act as more of like your crunchy onion veg. And the greens I'm gonna use as a topping. A little milder in flavor and can almost act like an herb. So I'm slicing these on a long bias because at the restaurant, we like to call this sexy scallions. And I like to put it in cold water because it can get a little slimy and it also like perks it up. Now for the jalapeno, I don't want any of the seed scraps. And that's where a lot of the spice comes from. And I don't want to kind of ruin the fried rice with too much spice. And our veggies are ready to go. Gabby, thank you so much for sending me eggs. I was very afraid that I wouldn't have eggs. I saw this on TikTok, actually. Thanks for the inspiration, TikTok. But it's something called golden fried rice. And what it is, it's separating the egg yolks from the white and using the yolk, almost like a fat emulsifier, and coating the rice with the egg yolk. It's almost like using a butter, which I did not have. So this is why I'm using the yolk for this. All right, our rice is ready to go. I have not been gifted with a wok, so I'm gonna be using the second best thing. It's a cast iron skillet. I love the cast iron because it retains a lot of heat, and also I can get the best part of rice that I love is the crispy rice bottom. First thing, fried eggs. Beautiful shrimp oil we made. Just add our eggs. While that cooks, let's get our cast iron hot. Let's add some of our beautiful shrimp oil. Add my scallion whites. So we're making this like beautiful scallion oil in the shrimp oil. These eggs look great. I'm actually gonna turn it off the heat and set it aside. I'm gonna add my jalapenos. Saute that slightly. Add our shrimp. Slightly season it. It's important to season every layer. We're cooking the shrimp about 80% of the way and we'll take it out. So at this point, I'm actually gonna turn off the heat because I don't want any more color. And I'm gonna take everything out. At this point, we are gonna fry our golden rice. And the reason why I took out the shrimp is because I don't want anything to steam. If your pan is too crowded, chances are your rice is gonna steam, which I don't want. I think I'm gonna add a bit more oil here. You see how all the granules are separated? There's no clumps. Really important in fried rice. So I'm cooking the egg whites in the center. I didn't want to just pour it over because I wanted to slightly cook before I fold it in because we don't want anything to be mushy. You're cooking the egg whites so it's almost all there and then we'll incorporate it into the rice. How beautiful does that look? We're gonna add our shrimp and our aromatics back in there. Give that a toss. Remember this beautiful paste? This is basically our MSG. Start with half. We don't want it to be too salty. Taste it for seasoning. I'm gonna go ahead and add all of it. Tiny bit of salt. It's super, super important that you taste as you go. One last thing that I'm gonna do here, some oil on the side, because what we're gonna do is make crispy rice. Flatten this out like so. Lower the heat to a medium and kind of just let the bottom get super crispy. But at this point, it's done. Now we're just gonna garnish with our fried egg. Remember our beautiful like scallion greens that we sliced on a bias really nicely? And then our garlic chips. Now I would serve this as is. I'll bring this to the table sizzling like this, and it always makes a beautiful presentation, and then you just serve tableside. Finally, you guys! I'm really nervous about this. I'm impressed. And this is my take on Gabby's fried rice. Oh my god, beautiful!
Wow.
Okay.
We're having so much fun, but
now you gotta try my humble fried rice.
Oh, I'm so impressed. Like, this is not what it looks like when I make this, that's for sure. I'm tasting some of the garlic. I'm tasting some of the aromatics. Feels really well-rounded, and the garlic really adds a nice little touch. So good. I'm gonna get another big bite now. I feel like it's no secret, but I'm such a big fan.
Oh my gosh,
This
don't
is
make
a
me
huge
blush.
moment for me.